Well,
Hello,
hello.
welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know. There's a song that I don't know that's Welcome Back. Isn't that Welcome Back, Cotter or
I
something?
think that's welcome back, Connor.
I
Welcome
don't
back,
know it.
welcome
Yeah.
back, welcome back.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That was a mainstay of my like childhood. Nick at Night was like
Really?
my oh my gosh. I was
That one
obsessed.
that one didn't make
Obsessed
it
with Nick at Night.
into my world.
Yeah,
Welcome
it
back,
wasn't one of
Cotter.
my favorites, but it definitely was in the mix. Oh, but welcome back to Hey, we're making a movie. I am Tara.
I'm Natalie.
And we are making a movie, and this is a podcast about us making a movie. If
Our
you are
very first one.
very
Very, very,
first, our
very first
very
one.
first feature film, if you are just now stumbling onto this podcast because you are making your own feature film for the first time and you're wondering about money and budget stuff, you looked at the title and said, hey, that's for me. Natalie and I are making our first feature film. It's called Turns Out. And instead of doing a featurette of how we made this movie after the fact, we thought, hey, why don't we just make a podcast while we're doing it and be very transparent about the entire adventure. And maybe that's our greatest mistake in life. Your face right now. If you're
Yeah.
listening, you can't see her face of grimace. It's creation is always waves of terror and fear and oh yeah, this is gonna work and amazing. I'm so excited. And then terror and fear again. Mm,
Yeah. And tired and just tiredness. I think that's like
yeah.
step 1 through 25 of any making a movie is just being tired.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just life right now. I'm tired all the time. Just add that on top. Yeah. Whew. All right, before we get rolling, all of you out there watching on YouTube, the super chats are turned on and the super chats are amazing. We're going to take all of those super chats you guys are sending us. We're putting them directly toward funding this movie. Currently, we are in the submitting the script to film festivals and script competitions. The price tag on that is a hefty one. We've already done the due, but that's the kind of
Hmm.
stuff that we're putting this money toward at this moment. So although we are not currently in production and currently collecting things together, there's a lot of like setup monies that have to
Hmm.
happen. If you're sending us a PayPal after the fact, that is also or if you want to, it's also an option. Link below. Love you guys in advance for that. It means the world to us every time you do it.
Also, if anybody's watching this on Facebook, I'm sorry, but Facebook offered to turn on ads for us and I did it. So I don't know what
I
that means for you.
Oh, goodness. All right. Where we're at now on the cycle of life, we are still squarely in development, much to
Hmm.
Nellie's
Hmm.
chagrin. She
Hmm.
hates being here. We're still in development, and we're in the worst part of development, which is money. This is
Uh,
the thing that no one has actually ever really solved. Even like the biggest directors in the industry, it always comes down to them getting money to make their movie. And that's where we are at money finding and money budgeting.
I think this actually puts us for the first time really in line with where we are as
Yeah.
filmmakers, not just where we are in like, oh, this is what the arc of making a movie is. And this is what our arc is. We are now squarely in the, well, we're not even in it yet. We're just
We're
starting to
just
get
we're
into
just
it. We're like,
we're just started putting our toes in it. We've put
oh,
together docs of like companies we could reach out to. Do we want to do a
mm-hmm,
crowdfunding? How are we going to meet that angel investor who's going to be like, I like you guys. Let me just give you some monies. Like you hear the
mm-hmm.
stories. It could happen to us.
It
We
could
could
happen.
Cinderella. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could
it could happen.
Cinderella. I used to
I
want to be
could
Cinderella
Cinderella.
at Disneyland. We used to be like my dream job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side note. I'm just gonna side note all day.
All day.
All day.
Sidecar.
So we had a production meeting. The whole team got together on Monday, and at the very end of the meeting, I was like, so I have no action items. I was like, and the whole room
That
was,
was my
and,
favorite
and like, I will start memorizing. This is why I don't like development, is because I am
Yeah.
such a go, go.
You're a
I need to
proactive
be,
person.
I'm a
Yeah.
proactive person, and there's nothing for me. There's not nothing
Yeah.
for me to do right now, but like,
But the
it's
major part of control of pushing the thing forward is not
it's
in your
not
camp right
it's
now,
not
and
mine.
that's
Mm-mm,
so hard for people like you and I who have
mm-mm.
over the last 20 years of being in the industry have taught ourselves to be go-getters, and that if we don't do it, it might not happen. So
Right.
we've just learned to like get in there and do it. And so often we've watched things that we've wanted to be a part of not do anything because we weren't in charge. Not that
Mm-hmm.
we're great, but that we can control that it's gonna happen. So for
Mm-hmm.
us to sit back at any point and go, "Oh, I don't have control
No.
over whether or not this is about to
Yeah.
actually go forth and be a thing."
It's
I'm
not
putting
a
my trust
comfortable
in,
spot for me.
yeah, I'm putting my trust in everybody else. Luckily, like I feel, especially after this last meeting, I feel really good about the relationship we built with Evening Squire and with
Hmm.
Allison and Mike. Like I just
Absolutely.
every time we talk to them, I'm like, okay, yes, this is we're doing this.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
doing. Maybe it won't be, you know, as fast as anybody wants it to be, but it's doing. It's going,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
nice. Is nice, but yeah, I understand your
Yeah.
feelings. Oh, so yeah, money's
So
that
yeah,
thing.
we're diving into the topic of money and budgeting, and where do you get the money?
I mean,
Where
like,
does it go once you get it? Like
yeah,
that those are like big things that people
how
need to
much do you
understand.
need? Yeah,
Yeah.
how much do you really need? We have
Hmm.
some pretty good preliminary experience with the money part. We've at this point, you and I've made a solid what, 3 to 4 short films together.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Two of those had a decent sized budget. We did a short film called Imaginary Friends, and that was, we crowdfunded for that, and our overall budget was $15,000. Now that is not that's just the hard monies. That's not, we got
Yeah.
loads of in kind effort from people. In kind
Hmm.
means professionals have come in and given you their time, their effort, their energy for free. So we got a lot of in kind on, or cheaper rates. So that's not a
Right.
real number. Don't look at that project and go, oh,
No.
I can make, no, don't.
No. And also that was what, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Also,
inflation in the industry is insane. Like
yeah.
inflation has been insane also, but like the industry has
Hmm.
it's expensive.
Yeah. The acceptable amount that I could offer somebody to work is not the same number
No.
anymore.
Mm-mm.
So like that's definitely like I don't think we could make that movie today for that number at
Not a
all.
chance.
Even
Not a
even with
chance.
the in kinds.
Not a chance.
We also did a short film called Social Anxiety, which was a little closer in this timeline. This was at 2022.
Hmm.
That was $13,142. I had the exact budget number.
Well, so, and that's a good example. If you look at those two films and
Hmm.
see the price point being, so that being $15,000 and that, I mean, and that one being 13, they are
Hmm.
not comparable in how much we had to spend to make those two
No.
movies. So I think that Imaginary Friends, even with the big stealing and borrowing, would have cost 20 to 25 now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think like to keep into consideration as well is like, both of these projects were babies of ours, and like there's money that we put into it that we weren't tracking. This does not include post-production. This does not include film festival run.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Like the up until this point, the way Natalie and I have operated is like we just got to get it in the can, and you and I
Well,
will figure out
yeah.
personally funding everything else that
Hmm.
happens. And so up until this juncture, we've had the luxury of doing things in a slippy slappy dashy washy kind of way. Like we have
Yeah.
spreadsheets, we have numbers, we have, all that stuff, but also we got to be a little bit more relaxed with how we were doing
Hmm.
things. Now that we're bringing in an entire other production company, the project is so much bigger than anything we've ever done before. We're really going for an indie feature size project, which means an indie's
Yeah.
feature size number. We realize
Hmm.
that we need to educate ourselves on like all of the all of the things. Like although I know how to budget and get into
Hmm.
budgeting software, maybe I should relearn some things because it might be important.
And I think what we're looking at, and I'm just gonna put a number out there right now, without talking to anyone about whether I could or not. I'm just making an executive
Go for it.
decision.
Yeah, go for it.
No,
Go
so
for an
I think
executive producer.
I'm not. Our bare minimum to make our movie is going to be at the bare minimum, guessing wise, is $100,000.
Yeah.
And that's with getting free locations
Hmm.
and only having the two of us as actors. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's even not paying for, yeah, like post is not really in there. There's a lot of things that's the
Hmm.
bare minimum.
Yeah.
So that's gonna I'm gonna move us into this
Yeah,
phases of
go.
budgeting because I think that goes right in there. So when you're creating your budget for a film, there's different phases of your budget, and one of those phases is kind of just the top sheet, and it's just like these vague numbers of what you think you need. And
Hmm.
like I said, and you often have like multiple different different budgets. There's the bare minimum I can make it. There's the this is what we really want. And then this is if there were no rules and I could do everything I've ever wanted in my entire life, there's the third budget, which um I don't live in that world. That
I
world
don't,
is
yeah.
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think
even
I've
want
worked on a single thing where there's been that
mm-mm.
number really.
No, I think we've done a couple crowdfundings where it's like where you have like tiers, and if you can get to
Yes.
this other tier, then you can these are the things I get to have, you know.
Right.
But even then, it's still like I'm not getting paid. Like we have never worked into a budget getting paid.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's also all be very, very clear, guys. We've never paid ourselves. Not a
Mm-mm,
single,
mm-mm.
not when we've crowdfunded, not a single time have we. This is the first time that, and I
It's
don't
in
think it's going to happen.
consideration. No.
It's in consideration to just cover the time off from work that we're going to
Right.
take to film the thing,
Mm-hmm.
just so that we don't have to. But I don't think don't tell Allison and Mike this because they won't allow it. But like, I don't think I'm going to take that money. I'm going to wind up
No,
shuffling that money
that's going
to
someplace else.
something else that needs to get taken care of. And that's always what winds up happening with me as a producer. Like, there's one project where I had my pay, and then I would just kind of put some of it, I put some of it aside, and then I used it for things. And I just
Yeah.
underpaid myself lightly because I wanted the project to get made. Because
Mm-hmm.
for me, at
That's
that
more
point,
important.
the
Yeah.
payment was this project being good.
Right.
So yeah, let's all be clear. We don't make no monies.
No. And so like I mean,
No.
but and I have nothing wrong. I think there's
No,
nothing wrong with people who figure out how to get paid in their
no,
productions as well. As
not
long
at
as
all.
it's not at the expense of other people in your production.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
you should not be like the top line item. I don't know,
Yeah.
you know. So the second phase of your budget is going to be kind of once you've secured that funding and you know what you have to spend, then you go through and you really line item it. You know, so it's like I have because if you do it before, you can do a preliminary budget of like this is about what we think we need, but until you have the money and can start like actually spending it
Hmm.
and getting people to agree to work for X amount and get the location and all those things, your budget's kind of still just wishy-washy. So until
Yeah.
those line items actually start getting plugged in, so there's kind of two phases of now you can be the kind of person who just does it all right off the front and then you're going to figure it out on the other side of it. But I think that's kind of the common way to do it. Um, there's tools out there, movie magic budgeting, showbiz budgeting, EP budgeting. Some of them are pay for. Studio
Hmm.
Binder has something like a template. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been in charge of that part.
Yeah, at this point, like I've messed with the Movie Magic software. I've actually contemplated becoming somebody who builds budgets for people so that they take them over and use them. That's actually a real job as a producer, is someone who creates budgets and then you just hand them off
Mm-hmm.
to the production. But for me to date, every project I've ever worked on has been an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet. And
Mm-hmm.
I scarf and save every single one I've ever done, clear it, and reuse it later for other projects because now I don't have to rebuild this
Mm-hmm.
multi-paged spreadsheet that all feeds to the top page and da 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 da. So
Mm-hmm.
you do not need to buy a fancy software in order to do a good budget. Like, there's tons of templates out there.
Yeah.
Build it from what you know, and like you don't have to spend money on that particular item because a lot of indie projects don't.
And I'm going to go ahead and in our YouTube, I will link this document that I am reading off of for the rest of this. The rest of this program is Natalie Reads Hour,
Yeah, my favorite hour.
because I found on Studio Binder, yes, we're just going to keep plugging Studio Binder because they just have been helpful. This whole the essential guide for crafting film budgets, and actually thought it was pretty helpful. So we're going to go through and we're going to read this, and we are going to break down each section as we go and how it relates to things
Yeah.
that what we're making and what we've done in the past and any knowledge we can glean from it. Okay, so film budget breakdowns, just basic. This part's going to gloss through. Like snowflakes, no two film budgets are alike. Most film budgets do share these 4 categories, and you'll find them. Oh, I crossed that out because I didn't want to read that part. So let's just go ahead and cross it out now. It's in real time. The film budget breakdown accounts into sub-accounts. They encompass these 4 categories. Category 1 is above the line. So this category includes development costs, talent, and crew generally involved in the development phase, which is where we are. So if we were including above the line, that would be us and all the things we've covered so far. Now, thus far, no one's getting paid in that department. So,
Yeah.
but screenwriters, producers, directors, and talents are included in this category. And you also have to include into that category SAG hires, like stunt teams, studio teachers, things that are going to be required on your set. All pre-production travel for these positions are also accounted for in this part of the film production budget. And like I said, like that line item. If we're paying ourselves, if we're paying our director, if we're paying our, the producer, that's that above the line item right there. The next section is below the line. So your production budget. So this is anything that takes place for the pre-production and anything after development, basically. So this contains the majority of all the overall accounts, all pre-production and production costs, equipment, and below the line labor are accounted for in this category. Almost everything is managed in this category: locations, permits, trucks, camera, grip, electric, etc. So everything else you're going to need to make a movie is in your below the line production budget. And then there's your post-production budget.
Yeah, I was like, and then,
and then there's your post-production budget. So there's your 3 categories. You're on your 3rd category, post-production. The post-production category includes everything related to post-production. All costs for facilities, equipment, services, labor should be accounted for in this category. So the breakdown on that one, that's going to be like your color, your sound mix, your composer, if you often need original music. You have the list there. I don't have that in front of me.
I was reading a comment. Yeah. So that's going to include things like if you need to source any kind of additional media, any kind of music, your SFX guys, your sound, there's so many things that you're not considering. Any audio sound effects you're going to have to pay for, like just these little details that you might forget even exist will be in that. ADR sessions, like there's a whole session for that's a big one that you commonly forget. Not as often, but every once in a while you may have to do a pickup shot, like a single, like you need a hand reaching for a coffee cup, like that's kind of a post-production cost because you're like, oops, I got to go back in and fix that thing.
I want to say, like, except for social anxiety, I think we almost always had to have some pickup shots. Like, yeah. I know Panic Button, we did a whole second day of shooting.
Oh my God. The entire movie Panic Button is a pickup shot. Yeah.
Pretty much. But like
pretty much.
Imaginary Friends, they realized that there was no transition. Someone went out on the street and got footage of a train going by.
That's right. Yeah.
Obit, which I just did, they realized they needed a transition, and this was a really hard one. They needed it to be snow covered because everything we filmed was snow covered, and there was no more snow on the ground. So they had to wait for snow on the ground to get a pickup shot of the exterior of a house. It's just, there's some crazy things. There's one more category, and that's other. This category is a catch-all and includes costs related to advertising, distribution of the project, fun things like publicity costs, festivals, and attorneys. Fun things,
Yeah. Your E&O, your stuff like that.
Production insurance.
Insurance. Sorry, your production insurance. Like, there's a lot of like just weird stuff that doesn't really fit into a real
Mm-hmm.
category. And I think because when originally you were making movies, you didn't have film festivals. You didn't think about that kind of stuff. So
Right.
like it just kind of got thrown into a separate like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'll just throw it over here because there's too many categories as it
I
is.
think it was, yeah, it was just the distribution at that point was all you really
Yeah.
had to worry about
Yeah.
there.
Way back in the day, just there was
Mm-hmm.
a direct pipeline. And now that we have so many options for after you've made the thing that you need a whole new category for like, all right, now it's done. Now what? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to also say like insurance is, although expensive, depending on the size of your project, like if you're doing anything that's involving a piece of equipment over a certain dollar amount, like $1,000, you're gonna need insurance.
Yeah.
Get it. If you want to distribute your film in any way, shape, or form that's beyond just sticking it up on YouTube or Omeletta or something like that, you're gonna need E&O.
Yeah, you're getting way ahead.
Just do it.
That's like number 10 here,
Oh,
Tara.
sorry. I'm
Like
just
you're
in the other. Yeah, I'm just in the other.
yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just put it in your
Yeah.
budget.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, for
sorry. Go
sure.
ahead.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
We got a whole breakdown of
Oh,
this.
yeah, yeah.
So with film budgeting accounts, the project type and the genre are going to make a huge difference in the
Yeah, massive.
structure of your accounts and your breakdown. So like just for example, like your documentary is going to be way different than a short film or a feature length budget. Like there's much more in post. There's much more. If your film is a horror, your special effects line
Yeah.
item is going to be so much bigger than if it's a drama, well, unless
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
gunshots still, but. Um, and then it says, pro tip, always budget for the worst case scenarios. So, optimism is great, but you must prepare for anything and everything that can go wrong. Actors get sick. Crew get hurt. Crew doesn't get sick. Wait a minute. Okay. Locations fall through. Weather doesn't cooperate. Been there, done that. Things get
Yeah.
broken, damaged, and lost. And if you haven't properly accounted for these mishaps, you can jeopardize the entire project. So have a
Yup.
plan B, C, and if you don't need them, then you can always move that money someplace else. Like
Yeah,
always,
exactly.
always.
You can
But
always move
yeah.
the money around. Just put it on the budget. Put it.
So then 4 is factor in your prep days. So prep days are days outside of shooting when your crew is working in order to be ready to shoot. Production design, G&E, your director, your cinematographer, they're all going to want a day to like look. I mean, you got location scouts already, you know that, but your costumer needs to get costumes. They don't just magically appear. So you need to
Yeah.
pay
The
your
day.
costumer
Yeah.
not just for the day that they're on set, but you
Right.
need to pay them for their shopping days, and
Mm-hmm.
you should do that. Not always is that going to help. I mean, is that going to happen? Yeah, people need to be able to get into locations ahead of time to figure out, like
Yep.
G&E. They need to figure out how they're going to um
Set things
rig
up,
things, how they're
where
going to set
things are
things
gonna
up, where they're
go. Yeah. And
yeah.
that's a
Now
day of
that
effort.
and people get paid for that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
on smaller budgets, you can ask people to work those days for free.
Yeah.
That happens very often. Sometimes with costuming, what'll happen for me is I just get paid for the job
Mm-hmm.
and then the work days. And so
Yeah.
it's like whatever it takes for you to do,
You
here's
do
what I'm
you.
paying you for your prep.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah, there's two ways of formatting that in the world that we work in. Like a lot of times at our level, at the indie level that we've been so far, we do flat. You get a flat rate. How you get it done is how you get it done. Uh, though the more money you have, the more people you have, the more intricate it gets. Then you start doing the day rate game, where it's like prep days and shoot days and wrap out days. Like there is a wrap out day as well. So like a lot of times a flat rate is an acceptable thing, but also keep in mind if you're budgeting, like you may be entering into the world where you've got to consider those prep days.
For actors, sometimes the way that you end up getting paid for fitting days. Because
Yeah.
you don't just ask and
Yeah.
again, this is larger scale, but larger
Yes.
scale productions. I've never been paid for a fitting day for any short film that I've been on. However, for feature films, when they want you to come in
Yeah.
and try on a costume, they're paying you to do that.
Yes.
So the next is calculating kit fees. This is one that's overlooked. Is
All the time.
so a kit fee is something you pay to someone who has built up their own kit for their position. So makeup artist is the biggest
Is the best one. Yeah.
example, I
Yeah.
think, because they have built up a kit of makeup and hairspray and eyeshadows and blah blah, and that they bring. You see them rolling those in on set, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're paying for the kit fee. Part of that payment is the amount of money is reimbursing them for the amount of money they've spent over time, but
Yeah.
the other part is because you're using up part of their kit.
Mm-hmm.
So they normally have a flat kit fee, but also your DP, your grip. A lot of them have their all of their own equipment, so
Yeah.
you don't have to go rent it, but instead you pay them their kit fee, and they come with everything. So often it's a camera package.
Mm-hmm.
They come with their own camera kit.
Yeah. Yeah, even
And
I have a kit as a producer. I don't charge a kit fee for this, but I have a kit that is
you
office
could,
supplies.
you
Yeah, I
could,
could easily.
hmm
It's scissors, it's staples, it's
yeah,
paper, it's a charging cord for people's phones. It's like all these little things that I've collected over the time that
hmm
get used up. Paper clips, they get used up and I got to replace it. Now it's not much, but for the makeup artist who's using up the Q-tips, like
hmm
she could, not charge a kit fee, but over time she's going to run out of stuff and have to refill it on her own dime, and that just isn't
hmm
very fair. So a
Well,
kit fee.
yeah, I mean, I've never charged a kit fee for wardrobe, and
Right.
yet I realize as you're going to set and you're getting your whole little box together, and it has your scissors and it has your tape and it has your string and it has your all those things that in your iron and your steamer, and
Mm-hmm.
and the wear and tear on those items. Like, you're not having to rent a steamer because I'm bringing a steamer, but
Right.
it's going to be needed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And it does eventually break because I've been taking it apart and putting it back together and taking it apart, and it's broken. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Um, and then number 8 on here is have a contingency plan. The
Mm-hmm.
contingency amount represents the financial padding set. I'm glad this is a podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
the contingency amount represents the financial padding set specifically aside to handle unknown issues. Okay, I got through that one. A 10% contingency is a solid amount for any project, especially if you have padded other categories and accounted for loss and damages in a few departments. I don't know, never thought about a contingency plan.
Yeah, we've never
Yeah.
really calculated one in there. My contingency plan has always been, I don't tell people this, but I'll tell a department, like, you get $500 to do the job. And invariably, they will always come to me and go, okay, I have this thing I need to do. I just need $200 more. I'm like, oh, let me go look at the budget and figure it out. Now, the secret is I actually budgeted for them to have $800. They don't know that. They think they have five. So my contingency plan is built into the fact that I'm a liar and I manipulate the situation. And then I go back to them and go, you know what? I found you $200 more. Go with God. Have fun. Thank you so much. And they're like, oh,
Well,
God, thank you so much.
we've
I'm a
always joked
terrible
on our
person.
productions that our contingency plan is that I'm going to come in under budget on costuming.
That's,
Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I always go, I can do that for, I can get all the costumes for 500.
Yeah.
And then I come in with $300 in receipts, and it's like that $200 is going someplace else
Yeah.
immediately. It's already
Yeah.
spoken
Like,
for.
between
Yeah.
the two of us, you and I have built our own version of a contingency plan. Now, normally you have it factoring automatically 10% of your budget that is going to be
hmm
your contingency plan. Like, your top sheet will automatically do that. And then you'll go back to your top sheet and go, this is the number I have based on all
hmm
the other numbers I have. So that's, it's built in normally.
Yeah, and you're doing that in your ask. I mean, all of this
Yeah.
is when you're making your budget so that you can go and ask for the
Go
money,
ask. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, before you like run out and go grab anybody else's Excel spreadsheet template, really consider what project you're making. So for Natalie and I, this project that we're making, we're not going to need a lot of this stuff. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm probably going to build us a brand new budget spreadsheet that's going to be like, okay, this is what we actually are going to need, because like some of the budgets I've worked with, like, I didn't even use all the things, but it's nice to know that those things exist. But like, just grabbing someone else's Excel spreadsheet isn't always the best at plan, because you're going to get overwhelmed by like all the weird things
hmm
that are in there. And then you're not going to be able to really format it to what you want. It's really, I think if you're starting new and just building your first budget for the very first time, go look at the budgets, but go build your own budget in Excel, watch a couple of
hmm
YouTube things and build a budget, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're talking about that you might not necessarily need
Doesn't
depending on your
necessarily
project.
apply to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't apply. Like, and that's a good thing.
hmm Uh, budget loss and damage. Okay, so in a world of film budgets, loss and damage (L&D) covers equipment that is lost, stolen, or damaged. It's best used as a deductible amount from your production insurance policy on the budget. So you've got your production insurance,
Yeah.
and you know your deductible is X. That's the amount that you need for your loss and damage, because your
Yep.
production insurance is going to cover it after that,
Everything else, yeah.
hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we were talking about insurance, you started talking about this earlier. You're gonna need, this is including production insurance. You're gonna need it. So it says
You're gonna have to have
production
it.
insurance covers the production in case of loss and damage and requires secure permits, locations, rent gear. And with a workers' comp policy attached, the crew is also covered in case of injuries. Now, the thing is, you don't necessarily need to do, if you're doing a small budget, you're not going to do workers' comp. You're not going to do,
Right.
you know, you're not, there, what is it? There's an insurance that is in case your film gets damaged. Like, you know,
Oh,
like,
uh-huh.
and like, you're not necessarily going to need that one. Yeah, we had to get it
Yeah.
for something because someone was like demanding it.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. In order to rent any equipment, you're going to need production
Yep,
insurance.
you're gonna need
They're
it.
not going to rent to you, and you'll find this out. How often it's not just like good practice to have the insurance. It is, they're not going
Mandatory.
to rent to you
Yeah.
if you don't have it. And now you're jumping through hoops to get it. It's easier
the
to
last
add
minute.
something to your insurance than it is to start from scratch and have it in the next couple of days, which we have done both.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. Get an insurance. You can add to the policy if you decide that you need to bump up your insurance to something else. Because what you're going to have to do for every person who wants to know you have insurance, you have to supply them with a certificate. It's called a cert. They're going to want their cert so that they know you have insurance. So if something of theirs gets damaged, so like if you are on location and you hurt their location and they have to get something fixed, they know there's insurance. It's just a safety net for everybody's sake. And for workers' comp, like if you're planning on getting permits, pulling permits for a location, I don't know about other states, but in Los Angeles, you're going to have workers' comp. So
Yeah,
you just
it's-
might as well, if you know you're going to do that, just do
Los
it.
Angeles for sure. I mean, the rest
Los
of the,
Angeles for sure.
the rest of the states, not as much.
Yeah, not as
but-
much. The rules will change for other places. Yeah.
Or the opposite direction. Because it's the gig economy. That's when that changed. Is having a worker
Yeah.
comp is the gig economy, and there's a big pushback. But that's a whole conversation.
That's a
for
whole other
another day.
conversation for another day.
So the last line item on here is errors and omissions.
That's that E&O.
Yeah, that's the E&O. Protects the production and its producers from liability claims arising from projects that air on television, screen in theaters, or are distributed for sale. This is not required for every project. With the exception of errors and omissions, it is a good idea to include all of the above in your budget. Yeah, that's you haven't gotten the rights. Is that what it is? You haven't gotten the rights for something properly?
Yeah,
and-
it's like if you're you included something into your like a name of a product, you mentioned someone's name or something like that, and you thought you got it cleared through your lawyers. They said yes, you can use that. You're good to go. But it turns out you're wrong, and that product, whatever, now wants to sue you, which it's very unlikely, but now they're going to sue you. This insurance is going to help you deal with that situation. So people like distribution wants to know you have errors and omissions so that the distribution company knows that you have that, so that if something goes wrong with with that and you get sued, which will botch the distribution deal, everyone's covered.
yeah.
So like if you don't need that if you're going to make a short film that's going to film festival. You may not even need that if you have a feature film that your intention is I just want to get this to film festivals. I don't really need distribution on this. But if you have any plan to do a real distribution deal where you're going to get paid back money, you're going to need it. So you might as well just figure out how to make it work. Put it in the budget so that you're not scrambling for it later, which you can do later, but there might
Yeah.
not be money left.
No. That's like also getting everything signed as you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
Oh my God,
that's
yes.
another conversation. But yeah. Like if
Yes.
you're going to use
Oh,
a
yes.
product, make sure you have that permission.
Yeah. We may have to do an entire episode before we even get to distribution about distribution because there's so many steps to do before.
Well, and I think for ours specifically, we have a lot of products that are named we have name brands in our script that
Mm,
we might go through and change that, but I would
right.
love to be able to keep them
Yes.
and now just get permission and get it signed by everyone
Yeah.
to say, yes, it's fine.
Yeah. If we can't get, a chip brand to specifically want to be in it, then we just want permission to be able to use that chip brand.
Hmm.
We'll see
I
how it
don't want to
goes.
have to make up a fake chip brand.
I know.
That's
I
not as
don't.
much fun for me.
It's not as much fun for all the things.
Mm-mm.
Um, so in creating your budget, you gotta come up with like some solid good guesses on what you think things are gonna cost.
Hmm.
Until you really have money in the bank, this is all speculative numbers. It is a nerve-wracking process for me because I'm like, I think I can get a guy to jib for this
Right.
amount. It's scary. And line producers are phenomenal at coming up with these numbers. Now they're always going to give you the real big number, but they know what these things will cost you. Us at our level, it's us making it up. So it's all
Hmm.
it's all coming down to research. So like when you're looking at your budget, like the big things like the above the line costs. Like so say you are going to pay an actor. Let's say that's what you're doing. Like say you want to get just your average you and I level actor. That's going to cost a certain amount of money because the union says so. If you're going with a union actor, there's a union price tag. And for a SAG, the ultra mega super duper low budget we have no money number is $206 a day for every
Yeah.
day. That isn't like your costume and your whatever. That's just your day for shooting. There's other
And
rates
don't
for
go into
those.
overtime.
Don't. Don't mess with the union. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, smaller productions, you get a little more leeway. There is a fun workaround for anybody who's working on a micro budget, and that is a very small number. I believe it's like if you're making something for $30,000, which you and I have done, micro budgets, they have new contracts that you're able to negotiate yourselves what the rate's going to
Hmm.
be, which is usually zero. I've worked many micro budget whatevers. But for anything above a certain level, so where you and I are playing at, it's 206. From there, like if you're doing a big production, like a full out, you've got millions of dollars, like the day rate for an actor, and don't get excited because this never happens for us, is $1,204. So easily there's $1,000 a day gone.
Yeah, if you
Gone.
want a name in your.
Yeah. If you're looking for a big name, unless you're going to be able to convince them to work on your micro budget number, $1,000. So like this is why the money goes so quickly at the very
Hmm.
top. So similarly, like the DGA has their own rates of a similar kind. I don't have
That's
those
the
numbers
Directors
really
Guild.
available. Yeah, the Directors Guild has their own rates. The PGA, which is the Producers Guild, I don't believe they have a similar system, but each guild has their own set rates.
Hmm.
So, IATSE, which is I don't know the acronym off the top of my head,
No, but
but
that's
that's,
the
go ahead.
tech union. That's your
Yeah,
tech union. That's
that's
all
it.
of your grips and your
Hmm.
electric, and they all got glommed together in their own union.
Yeah. So if you're gonna be an IATSE project, which most likely you won't, depending on what state you're in and what you're doing, they have their own set numbers, and so you're probably looking at like I'm betting that's 350 based on the actor number being 206. I bet you the IATSE numbers are 350, and what it is paying people, you know, not only just what they're worth, but like a livable wage. It's just like guaranteeing that like, yes, this one day of work is gonna garner them this much money. So when you're building your budget, guessing how much you're gonna pay everybody a day, like you're gonna see the money go real fast. That
Hmm.
is that is the place that sucks up the money the quickest.
Right. I think the second place is going to be locations.
Yeah,
Locations
that's
ends
number
up
two.
taking up a huge
Mm-hmm.
amount of money. Now, that's why we're trying to get like we're basing where we're filming this off of where we can get the cheapest locations. And I don't even just mean like permits and things like that, because
Mm-hmm.
that is its own level of bleh. But, you need to film in a house. And if you're not filming in your house, whose house and how much are you paying them? And, so yeah, you need to film in a restaurant. Well, how much are you going to pay them to shut down for the day? Or are you going to film in the middle of the night? Are you going to, like the beg still
Right.
borrow in the location section is
Yeah.
pretty high.
you're paying them basically to displace them, to
Mm-hmm.
inconvenience them. So like if you're renting out a bar, if you have a scene in a bar, God help you, because you just got to consider how much money would they make on a Monday night? Probably 2 grand. So that's, you got to cover them not being able to make that money for a night, or do it during the day, and maybe you don't get to have a nighttime looking shoot, or you figure out how to make it
Mm-hmm.
look like, because you and I had a project it was in a bar, and we're like, okay, how can we film this when the bar is closed for
Mm-hmm.
freezies, because otherwise it will cost us 2 grand just to begin the project.
We have a question in the comments that I'm going to get to right now. Actually, it's that since you already
Great.
have a producer director on board, are you paying them already? It's not quite how it works. I mean, it's not how it works for us at all because no one's getting paid right now. But
Yeah.
and often that'll end up being you're getting paid, like you said, this is how much you're going to make for this project. So all of those pre-production development stage days are going into that. That's how we'll end up working it out for our um, there's no day rate hourly for this. Now, there's something really interesting that happens for producers, and they're pushing back. This is one of the things that happened, which came to light a bit during the writer's strike, was that producers often don't get paid for things that they've worked on because if the
Hmm.
project doesn't ever come into fruition, they never get paid. So they do a lot of work that development, pre-production in a gamble that this is
Yeah.
going to be a project that actually takes off. They're not getting paid with exceptions. They're often not getting paid like a daily rate to be taking care of
Hmm.
things or their pay is based off of that production actually getting funded. And
Hmm.
if it ever gets funded, then all the work they've done is for free. And that was a big, saw a lot of movement on that behind the scenes that producers were like, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we need to have a conversation about how this industry is set up.
Yeah.
Um, but as of
Yeah.
now, no one's getting paid yet.
And this is a related side story. I was once involved with a director who did a lot of commercial projects. And in order for him to bid for the job, he would have to do an entire breakdown of the commercial he would make for them.
Hmm.
And the level of work that he was doing for free for this commercial, like, well, here's our concept. What would you do with the concept? And then a lot of the times they would at least steal at least one thing they did and claim that it was like, oh no, that
Oh, we
was,
already had that. Yeah.
yeah, we already had that. No, you did not. There's no way. And for me, it's like that level of like, yeah, yes, you're rolling the dice and playing a gamble, and if this pays off, it pays off big.
Hmm.
But most likely it's not. And so you're doing all this work, constantly doing this like high level work for free. And it's always bugged me. Always bugged me.
Commercials got in a lot of trouble about 10 years ago right now, already
Mm,
for having actors improv.
yeah.
Commercial auditions, you'd often improv the commercial because commercial scripts are whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but the big issue was is then they would use that stuff.
Yep.
And now you don't have a writer credit, and now you didn't get paid to write it, and now you are just
Hmm.
stealing. So they stopped being allowed to ask you to only, I think it was just like only ask you to improv. They're allowed to
Right.
have you improv, I think, to a degree. But I
Hmm.
remember this weird shift when I was early on doing commercial
I
auditions,
remember
and
that. Yeah.
it was like, no, we're not allowed to ask you to improv anymore. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Because
okay, good,
improving
because
got
I hate
popular.
improv.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Improving got popular as like a thing everyone was doing. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, commercials realized like, oh, we can get the funny people in here to write it for us. I don't think it was like a nefarious move, but like it just happened.
It
And
did.
now the phrase, I remember being told like, make it your own. It was the
Mm-hmm.
code word for improv. Make it your own. Like, okay, cool. All right. Which is fine because I don't want to learn your script anyways. It sucks.
Oh no,
Can
I
never
hated
remember
it.
it.
I
Yeah.
hated it.
Oh, the improv part?
Oh,
Yeah.
I hated it. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I hated making copy sound like a human and not like a robot. But
Hmm.
anyway, I digress. Anyway, sorry, that was super loud. Um, so okay. In the budgeting process, like there's a couple of things that we like on this uh budget we wanted to talk about, correct? Am I right in the structure of today's episode? I feel like I'm
I
not.
don't know. I'm past my stuff, so it's
You're
all on you now. My papers are all done.
well,
I got
it's such
all of
a
them.
It's such a whiffy
Can you hear
waffy.
that? Can you hear that? That's my
That's
homework.
Natalie's ASMR of ripping her homework to pieces. Welcome. Okay, we're gonna go back to the regular program. Well, it's such a mushy mushy topic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you're talking, I'm like, wait, am I in the wrong place in our podcast right now? Because it is
Mm-hmm.
such an amorphous, difficult thing to talk about. So I had actually had gone back and looked at a bunch of our old budgets that I'd worked at to like just refresh my brain on like what is all this stuff and what are all the things I wanted to talk about. Like number one being like your human cost. Your human cost is going to take up the most of your budget, and it should. Like pay people. If you can pay people first. Like you'll figure everything else out. Um, the the other thing that has gets long lost depending on how much money you've got is payroll. Payroll is going to be something that comes up. So if you're heading into the range that you and I are going into, payroll is a thing, and that percentile that is going to be needed to deal with payroll, to do paychecks, that like the social security and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that is a factor that is I one project I was living and dying by payroll numbers. If somebody was an LLC or an S corp and I got to put a flat rate because I was going to pay their S corp instead of have to do payroll,
Mm-hmm.
that would save me thousands of dollars. I got to now shuffle to something else, and every time I got an S corp, I it was a win. It was a massive win,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I formed myself as an S corp to do that.
Right. I think that's specifically for states that don't allow for 1099 employees
Yeah,
anymore. So,
absolutely.
yeah, if you, which I think, I mean, there's more than just California, but mostly it's California. Like a
Yeah,
lot of states allow 1099 and gig economy
which
still.
is
Yeah.
great. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
California, yeah, if you have to do a payroll situation, that's a number that to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had mentioned, the contingency fund. Like that's now that we're in these big numbers, that contingency fund is now going to become really important. I think even on smaller projects, don't do it the way we've done it. Like, definitely just factor in that contingency fund. Do a little auto number so that you're setting aside enough money to solve problems. Because the way we've done it traditionally, it worked. It worked because we're
We
clever.
got there. Yeah, we
We
got
got
there.
there, and that's going to be a lot of what you're doing is you're gonna get there. You're gonna figure it out. So it's a it's a difficult time.
Yeah.
This part of the budget.
Do you want to pull up that budget that you
Yeah, I would say,
have
do
to
you want to take a
show just
so I
like, I
know
mean,
if you're on the podcast, you're not going to get to see this, but for those of
but
you
we
who
can,
join us on the YouTubes, why is it? Oh, now I'm having
you have to
technical
do that thing
errors.
where you have to do that thing. I gotcha.
Oh no, I got it. I had to remove. I got it. I had to
Nope.
remove the.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Had to remove our place card holder. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
this is an actual working budget I had at one point from a project that was of a sizable budget. We had $150,000 to play with, and it's amazing how quickly that went. And I've redacted anything important here, but in here you can see like the structure that it's built on, like the units. The units is like, am I paying you weekly? Am I paying you daily? Am I paying you a flat rate? Um, I have a giant page of just my crew and personnel that took up so much of the budget. How many days for each person? And this is just the this is just for like the production part of it. You can see a giant portion of that I had to redact because that's my cast. Like that's all the people that need to work, how many days and how quickly all those funds went. And it's a long spreadsheet here. You can see
Yeah.
you've got our camera package on here. So what I'm saying, like when you want to grab someone else's Excel spreadsheet to make your own budget, there's so much on this spreadsheet I didn't need. It was just a pain in my butt to have to scroll past every day. Better to go and take your own stuff and build your own budget. Look at somebody else's and then grab the information that you need off of it. Because it is
Yeah.
nice to know, hey, lodging and transportation. I do need to consider that because I'm flying my buddy in to do this
Yeah.
thing. Uh, doing catering. If you look all the way, there's a section that's like local expenses, and that's where I shoved the catering numbers for this. And like I
Mm-hmm.
had every different day's catering numbers on there. Don't forget to feed people. Really
Yeah.
important. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And figuring out that number, like there's two different ways to do that. You can do a per person game where you're like, okay, I get to spend $10 per person per day, or you can do what we call an allow. You're allowing this budget to you're allowed to spend up to $200 on that day in food.
Mm,
Work it out, figure it out.
yeah.
So this is a long, I mean, it's pages and pages because we had lots of travel back and forth for different members of our cast and crew. We even got into our post-production stuff down here with our miscellaneous, costs for post-production. Like there's support that needs to happen. Paper clips, office supplies, just stuff like that you
Yeah.
might not think about.
Some
So
petty cash.
petty cash. Oh, I have I forgot I did this. I have an entire different spreadsheet that I was like, I could show this, but I'm not going to, that covered just the petty cash I was given. And I had line items for each person who got a petty and each person's spend and the receipts that matched it. Like I had to track all of these different things. The more money you get, like you're happy, hooray, we got so much money, but now you got to manage it. Mo money,
Mm-hmm. No
mo
problems.
mo mo problems. We did have a flat allowed rate for this project to go to film festival that we shoved in there. When we came in under budget just slightly, we worked in film festivals. We shoved it in the budget. It wasn't there originally. It was something we wound up adding later because we realized like, oh, we want to do that.
Did
But
you stay within your flat?
yeah, we did
Did
actually.
you? Really?
That's a longer story of why we stayed in our flat. I think we would have definitely hit it had things gone
Yeah.
differently.
Because
But
Tara and I always with festivals, and I just saw someone else's budget for their festivals, and I was like, holy cow, I can make a
oh
short film off
yeah,
of that. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we just did it. You're just like, oh my goodness. But like, you always go, oh, but one more. Oh, and no
Uh-huh.
one's taking in, like, so the big boys will tell you to part of your festival funds should also be the transportation to getting to the festivals.
Oh,
And
mm-hmm.
no, that doesn't happen.
No, that
No,
never happens.
no, that's not
Yeah,
real money.
that's that dream number that you put together that you just throw up there. That's a like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm dreaming of
If all the things
this.
are the
If all
same,
the
I
things
get
are
to,
perfect,
you'll
I get
fly
to
me to
buy a
London for a
flight.
festival.
Jeez. You'll fly me to New York for this. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
no.
That's going
Uh-uh.
on our own dime for so long.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I mean, like you would think that it'd be easy to take this giant budget that I have and like edit it for your own purposes. It's such an interlocking Excel spreadsheet. Like there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many things that so this spreadsheet actually feeds to a top sheet that feeds to a back sheet that feeds to other things. Like again, like those smart like I have call sheet spreadsheets that I use to make call sheets that are so interlocking that there's a rules page. Don't do this, don't do that on this
Mm.
interlocking call sheet because there's so many things that domino effect. So again, it's tempting to take someone else's Excel spreadsheet and just go, I'm just going to adjust these things. You're going to make a mess. You're going to get the wrong number you need. Just pull the information. If you are a
Use it
smaller
as a
project,
reference.
use it as a reference, build your own thing, learn a little Excel, little 101 on the YouTubes. I cannot stress enough how many times I've had to redo budgets because I thought I was going to be clever and just use someone else's Excel spreadsheet that I didn't understand. Or even this project, actually, this is the third budget for this same project that I had to make because originally I had picked up the job from somebody else and they had their own version of an Excel spreadsheet and none of us understood it. And we kept trying to edit it and it kept falling apart. Just don't. I just spent the one full day of work that I wasn't paid in pre-production to move everything over to an entirely new spreadsheet so that we had something that we knew was going to function the way that I understood it and the way that with my entire team. I wasn't the only one. My entire team was like, I don't understand why this is doing this on the spreadsheet and now we have the wrong number again. Just
Yeah.
save yourself the headache. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Reference.
it's not about the sheet itself. It's
No.
about all the numbers that add up and all the stuff that's coded in there.
Yeah, the sheet's not
Also,
magic.
I'm going to acknowledge the fact that Tara just sounded like she was on an aircraft carrier, and I don't know what was going on there.
Thank you. There's a helicopter hovering over my house right now. This has been happening a lot this week, and there's one day they buzz for an hour, and I'm like, how
man.
expensive is this?
will
Again,
say-
my brain goes to money.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you are filming in Los Angeles, account for helicopter time.
God, night. There was cannon fire the other day. I live very close to Paramount, so
Oh.
every once in a while there'll be like a cannon that fires, random fireworks that we don't know. It's like we're nowhere near a 4th of July, and there's like fireworks going off in the middle of March. We're just like, I don't know. So yeah, just know that this podcast will sometimes have interference from Tara's world. Hilarious. Okay, so I hope our money research is helpful to you guys and the little bit of knowledge that we have pulled together. Like we're currently
very-
researching as well.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yes, and I'll link to this article that I just tore up.
Yeah.
And it was a good article.
You goofball.
I know. And then and we'll do we have a spreadsheet that we can link to at
You know,
all?
I will find a spreadsheet that I am willing to share as a template that you guys
Yeah,
can take a look at.
okay.
I'll put a link below. I'll figure it. It may take me a day or two to find the right one, but I'll find
Check
something
back.
that you can look at.
Yeah,
check back for
on
that.
the YouTubes.
Yeah, check back on
that's
the
what we'll put.
YouTubes. I will drop it in a comment. It'll be my name comment. You'll see it there. But yeah, I hope that this research was helpful for you guys. We are deep in the process of learning this ourselves, and because we're doing that, we've got interviews coming up. Very, very excited. We're going to continue on discussing the different ways to get money, crowdfunding, investors, fiscal sponsors. We're going to start diving in more into this as future episodes. This was just to prime you guys up for further discussions about the money stuff. So keep checking back with us. Like, I know that there's more questions about specific kinds of money findings. We're gonna try and cover and research all of that in the coming weeks, because that's literally where we are right now. All right, guys, let's leave the unfun money talk. I like money
Ew.
talk, but like it's really boring after a while. I'm tired. Natalie, it's your turn to do things. No, you actually carried the whole episode. Let me take that back.
I know. Normally,
right.
I just sit by
Yeah,
idly.
you carried this one, lady.
That means
Okay.
I have earned the right to rant and rave with my Abby Singer.
Is that what this now is? It's you ranting and raving about vocabulary.
This one specifically, and you'll hear as soon as I say it out loud, you'll understand because
I'm
you've
gonna
heard
groan.
me. So the Abby Singer vocab word of the day is POV.
Oh.
So
You just want to get a shot in at people right now. That's what this is.
100%. Everyone knows what POV is. You would think, except for the fact that everyone on Instagram and TikTok is using POV wrong. So let me clarify for you, okay?
It's
POV.
madness.
It is. It drives me crazy. A shot taken from the perspective of one character. Point of view.
My
Now,
eyes.
this I feel like we all know what this means. I feel like
Yeah.
we're all there. However,
thought-
if you go on TikTok, don't.
then-
If you go on Instagram, that's where I end up seeing it. Is people put a POV up there that is not POV. And I actually thought about starting a TikTok channel. Do we call them channels? I don't know. A
Who
TikTok
knows? Account.
page, account, whatever, that was solely not POV. And it was
Oh
going to
my
be me
gosh.
sharing people's stupid reels that were not POV. We have a
You
whole.
know, if you did that, you'd have so many followers.
Yeah,
Like,
it drove me crazy. Anyway,
yeah.
so POV. The thing that's interesting about a POV shot, actually, though, is that it's they're often handheld because it's supposed to feel like it's through your eyes, which is a lot of times one of the reasons you do that. But it would show what it would look like through this character's eyes, and coupled often with a reaction shot. So you see the thing, you whip pan We're gonna whip pan. Everybody knows what pan is. We're gonna whip pan, and you're gonna look right dead into the camera,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna flip it around, and we're gonna see, like. So often, it's the only time that people end up looking into a camera.
Yeah.
We don't, as actors, you don't get to directly look into the camera except for in very stylized things.
Very stylized.
You'll see it a lot with people who are waking up, and sometimes you do the blink, blink,
Yeah.
blink,
The
blink,
blink, blink,
but
awake. Yeah.
often it's
Yeah.
just like that slow look up, and then there's all
Yeah.
these people looking down straight in the camera at
Yeah.
you,
That is your POV.
And then
Yeah.
it got very popular in slasher films. You had the killer POV, and that was with Halloween. Got that one really popular, where you like looking through the mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
The shark POV, that's my fave. Yeah. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you see a TikTok video that is of the person that you're supposed to be imagining the feelings of, and you're seeing the person, that is not a POV. That makes me crazy. Like you're not just putting yourself in the emotional place of this person. You're literally seeing it through their eyes. Like it's a
Every once in a
minutia.
while, every once in a while they get it right because they're filming, and I think this is how they got it wrong in the first place. Is someone saw someone filming themselves in a mirror, and then it is your POV. But they didn't understand that that's it's anyway, this has been an ongoing me wanting to scream about it. So like if anybody hears this and you didn't know what POV is, fix it. Fix it. Don't
Stop making these TikToks. Stop making these videos. Oh my God. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right. Okay. Before we leave today, again, those super chats, that's up there. It's activated. It's ready for you to send us your cold, hard coinage to help us make this movie. We appreciate all of the super chats we've gotten so far. You guys are awesome and amazing. If you decide you don't like the super chat system and you'd rather do the old school PayPal method, we love a good PayPal. It makes our week. We go, oh my God, did you see the email? We got a PayPal. Oh my God, who's it from? We have a whole sidebar excited conversation when you guys send us PayPal. It's like, what'd they say? What'd they say? We read the comment. So if you want to PayPal, there's a link for that below as well. All these funds are going to go help us make. Turns out we appreciate not only the fiscal support for you guys, but you guys turning up and watching this and supporting us along the way. It means a lot because this is a very hard endeavor. All right, next week we are going to have an interview. As I mentioned, we are going to have interviews. Next week we have the incredible and amazing Paula Rhodes. Paula is a powerhouse of a woman. She's an actor, a director, a producer. She has a ton of projects under her belt. Specifically, Paula has been a part of a lot of crowdfunding episodes, crowdfunding projects, crowdfunding campaigns. She's been there on a number of them. So she is an excellent person to talk to. So if you are wanting to investigate the crowdfunding route for funding your film, next week's episode is the episode for you. I promise it's going to be amazing. I adore Paula to absolute death. So I think we're all going to learn so much. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We love doing this podcast. It makes us do our homework. As you can tell, we did some homework. We're looking forward to learning more. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
I knew one day I was going to hit the wrong one. The wrong outro intro, because they're in the wrong order because we've reloaded and loaded it so many times. I knew one day it'll be wrong. Welcome to the Credit Cookie, guys. This is where we are so even more behind the scenesies. We talk to you directly. It's way more fun than just listening to us yammer on about how to live a life. Money. This is the time that we like to sit and chat with you guys and be super real. Okay, before we kick it off though, we have a really important thing to talk about. On this channel with you guys that do it live, you still are like you guys are a small group that watch it live, and we really think of you guys as like our very healthy guinea pigs, or are, what's a better way of putting this? Like, you help us troubleshoot a lot of things. There's a potential that Natalie might go to Los Angeles to do the Dances with Films Festival, and we thought, why not test run something we've been wanting to do, which is pre-recording an episode entirely. So next week's episode is actually with Paula. We've already filmed it. We shot it on Monday. It's awesome. It's really
It's a
good.
very,
Paula,
very good. Yeah.
it's such a good episode. Paula knocked it out of the park. We did very little of the lifting on that one. It's definitely one to tune into, but we're not actually going to be live for that one. We're going to be broadcasting we're going to be, I guess that's the right way.
Launching it. We're gonna
Rebroadcasting,
launch it.
launching it. We're essentially going to launch it, the entire thing. We will still be there. We're going to be in the chat with you guys. So we're still present because we wanted to do one of these where we both could be present to see what would happen mechanically. Because at some point in the very near future, one of us is not going to be available and we're going to have to do an episode. And we already pre-agreed before doing the show that we're never doing one alone. That's not allowed.
That's not how it's gonna
too
go.
hard. It's too hard to do a podcast episode by yourself. So we want to see what happens while we're both there in case something goes terribly wrong and we have to figure it out. So here we are. So guys, tune in. It will help us so much to have an audience there to like troubleshoot what's up with this whole launch it situation.
Yeah. So basically, next week, the episode's already recorded. We will be in the chat, but the whole thing will be pre-recorded launch.
Long and the short.
Yeah. We will probably be in the chat. One of us will be in the chat.
One of us will be in the chat. Definitely. There's always a world where one of us isn't, but one of us will be in the chat.
One of us might be on the road. That would be
Oh,
me.
that's true.
Yeah. If I do come into town, I will be driving.
Yeah,
During
you'll
this
be there.
time
Well,
frame.
you'll be there. You'll just be listening, and then
Yeah.
you'll probably be on the phone with me at the same time and calling me and telling me say this. We'll both be there. Anyways,
John, hold on. Did you see this from John right here? I can't read right now. I need larger print. You can read that one.
oh my God, I'm gonna pop this up.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on the screen. John Rogers, I was referred to your podcast by a highly creative director, lighting director couple here in Wimberley. You may know them. I need to thank them. My mom and my dad. My mom and my stepdad they live in Wimberley, Texas, living their best freaking life. Like, they call me and tell me about the Wimberley players and what's going on and stuff like that. It's so fun. Like, they're just having a ball in their quasi-retirement. Like, they'll never really retire. They keep doing projects. Oh, I'm so glad. Thanks, John. I'm so glad you joined us. I saw your new name and I didn't recognize it. I was like, I wonder who this is. It's so exciting to have someone new here. Hopefully, we answered your questions. If you had another question and want to ask it now,
Yeah.
go for it.
John was asking earlier about saying interested in the what Jenny Waldo had been talking about. with
Yes.
And I don't know. Um, and I would
I know a
love- and
little
it-
tiny
yeah.
bit.
And I
Yeah.
would love to dive into that if we could maybe figure out another episode where we
I
interview someone.
agree.
But do we bring Jenny back just to talk specifically about that? I think she
Maybe.
might. The other
Well,
thing is,
and
John,
Paula had mentioned a thing too that I was like, that's in alignment with that fiscal sponsorship stuff.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
But John, I would say I would be willing to bet that if you reached out to Jenny Waldo, because
She's
she's
awesome.
got her YouTube and she likes to mentor people and help out. I would be willing to bet that she would answer any questions you have. But yeah, I think I would love to dive into that more. I don't think it's
Yeah.
something that is specific to our project. I don't think that's a direction
It probably
we're
isn't.
looking at all. But
Yeah, a lot of times you found yourself as fiscal sponsor, which means that it is a nonprofit organization who has teamed up with you. I had looked at this before for other projects. So like specifically, I had looked at a program that helps high schoolers and junior hires get into the film industry, and they were going to be a fiscal sponsor on a project. And part of the deal was like you would donate, you would give money to the project that would be a tax write-off for you. And in exchange for using the fiscal sponsorship with this company, we were going to bring their students on as mentorees in certain positions on the thing. And so that would be then a tax write-off for whoever donated to that fiscal sponsor that went to us to make the movie.
Yeah, which I mean, I think you could probably do in almost any location you're
Yeah.
in. Like, there's almost, I don't think any reason we couldn't do that in where we end
Hmm.
up filming if it's not
Right.
LA, you know.
Absolutely. Oh,
Hmm.
absolutely. And Paula had mentioned a site in our interview with her, and I'd have to go back and rewatch the tape, and I forget the name of it, but that it was like crowdfunding, but for fiscal sponsors for projects, not filmmaking specific, but
Hmm.
projects. So I wrote down a note that
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to her about it. Where that note on this
Hmm.
desk went is a question,
Hmm.
but we want to
I
dive into
think,
that
you know,
too.
and then I think anything that has like a social movement behind it, you can do stuff like that.
Oh
I don't know
yeah,
that your comedy can really, but like if
yeah,
you're doing something that has to do with immigration, or you're doing something that has to
yeah.
do with even spousal abuse, you know, like I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it doesn't matter
Oh
what
yeah,
the topic is. If it has some social resonance, I'm sure you can find people who are willing to do stuff like that.
I bet.
Ours, I can't possibly think of, you
Yeah,
know, I mean, maybe we can partner with the earthquake preparedness,
yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
hey, have a go bag.
Yes. That's actually not a bad idea. Uh, any 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 preparedness um organization
Yeah, that's
out
yeah. I don't
there?
know. I don't know.
This is I've
Yeah.
never made this face before. It's new for me.
Mm.
New for me. Wait, before we go any further too, this is a hard left. Do you have a fancy mug today?
I have a mug. Is it
Okay.
fancy? It's pretty. I
No,
like it.
it's a new one. I haven't seen it.
No, I will. I've so far always had a new mug,
Yeah.
but I can't remember. I can't. What
Your
does that
face.
say? What does that say? Made in England.
I like that I leaned
Uh,
in like I was gonna help you out with that.
I can't read that. I don't know. It says something mug. I don't know. It's cute. I think it's pretty. A little fiesta
Hmm.
wear almost. It's not
Yeah,
though.
I like it. That's
Um,
fun. Yeah, I've got my
yeah.
Townsend one today. I don't
Oh yay.
normally. I usually drink out the same mug lately because I'm so busy. I don't have time to go. What mug do I want to drink from today?
See, the problem, and neither do I.
Yeah,
The
I'm
the
lucky I make it to
problem,
this desk on time every day
right? Every day, every Wednesday morning, I'm like fudge, and I'm like digging through trying to find a mug that for to keep this through line going.
to keep this story.
Because because also the problem is I make candles on Sunday, Monday, and so any
Oh,
new fancy mugs get made already.
get
Although
made.
here, yeah, hold on, let me show you. Let me show you this guy. Look at this little pig.
I mean, like, listen, we could change the mug corner to you showing me the most recent one that you made because I'm as invested as you are in the mugs that you've made. Like, I
This
love
is
your post when you post the new ones. I'm like, oh, look at the mug. I scroll.
apple and cinnamon.
No, that's too good. I'm into it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, I love it. I'm into it. That's
I
very fun.
I also organized my candle booth in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about. I sell candles at the farmers market.
Yep.
And I reorganized my booth so I had a because I have a corner booth almost always, so I got a little L
Hmm.
shape going, and
Yeah,
I had the plants
it's a
out. I
good
sold another
booth.
plant, by
It's a
the
good
way.
booth. Oh, nice.
And but I decided to go down to two tables because I bought one of those Mister fans that you just put over a bucket. Oh, hold on, I have to show you something. Hold on. Let me be right back.
I love when she abandons me like this because she's thought of something randomly that she has to go run and grab.
No, I'm showing the people the
Oh, I
bucket.
love it. No, I love it. No, do it. Get it. Bring it. Every time you do this, it cracks me up.
Oh,
She
I just
just
scared
leaves
everyone
frame.
outside of this room. Hold on. So I got a Mister fan, right? And
Yeah.
you know, they just sit on top of like Home Depot buckets, but I have
Hmm.
a very cute booth and it's dainty. It's and
Yeah.
I don't want a Home Depot bucket in my corner. So
What did you find?
I decorated my Home
No,
Depot
stop
bucket.
it. You're hilarious.
This is
I love it.
border that I found at the DI, like you know that you put on the border
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
panel. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I just decorated a Home
I
Depot bucket.
love that. That's hilarious.
So I
That's
just ran out of
perfect.
this room to grab it because it was sitting out in the hallway.
That was worth
And
it.
because I just ran out and grabbed a bucket, everyone goes, "Oh no, a leak!"
Oh, right. Oh, right. Yep. Jack Boots says
Oh,
it should smell like bacon. I'm like, that's not a bad idea. That's kind of
you know
fun.
what? I don't have the bacon scent. That would have been.
Mm,
There is a bacon scent.
yeah.
I don't own it. I
It might
keep
have been a
not
little
buying it.
morbid though.
Yeah,
You know what
I
would be
think it's
fun?
too cute to be
It's too
bacon.
cute
It's
to be
apple and
evil.
cinnamon.
I think yes. I think that would be really fun if you did diner mugs, like the one
Mm-hmm.
the brown one you gave me, but
Mm-hmm.
put bacon scent in that one, like bacon and like waffle, like maple
Oh, do a
in that mug.
breakfast candle.
Yeah, like a breakfast candle would be really like just the diner mugs. That'd be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a
The
fun.
diner mugs always get coffee.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
just like
yeah.
the plain
Oh,
diner ones, I always just put coffee in them.
coffee, bacon, like all that together. It's a lot,
Yeah.
but mix it together. Like I think
Just
that'd be
make a,
really
yeah.
fun.
This one
Breakfast,
smells like IHOP.
love it. I'm into
I
it.
do have maple syrup. I already have coffee, maple syrup. I have something that probably could be dough.
Okay. Ooh, that's good.
All I really need is the bacon. I don't want to do
Yeah.
eggs.
No, nobody
Nobody
wants
wants
that.
eggs.
No, that's a bad idea. Don't add eggs into that. That's not going to work out for anybody.
Uh,
Oh, amazing. Okay, do we have any film? Yes. I'm going to be I keep forgetting I have this. I'm going to Atlanta this weekend. I keep forgetting I have a trip. I haven't packed yet, which is so not like me. This weekend I will be at the Atlanta Shorts Festival with a project that I'm just in. I just get to just show up and look pretty. Like it's I'm not working for the festival, which I love doing. Please do not get me wrong. I love working for festivals, but I'm not working. I'm not a producer on it. I don't have to be concerned about anybody else's well-being. I just have to worry about myself and getting myself to the screening. It's great. I will be at the Atlanta Shorts Festival. I'm representing a film called Death is a Favor. It's a thriller. I have never seen this movie, so me inviting you is very vulnerable because I'm
that's
sure
been the
it's
last
great.
couple ones that I've been to. It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They specifically didn't want me to see this on a small screen. They wanted me to
Okay.
see it at a festival first. So they wanted me to have the real, and like I fully respect that.
Okay.
You're making me nervous, but that's cool because I'm in a bikini in part of it.
Yeah.
I'm in a bikini running around a house with a knife and I fall on the floor. So like there's a lot that could go wrong. Like I'll see
Shh.
things that no one else sees.
You
Dysmorphia
just
is a real
sold 20
thing.
tickets just now.
The screening is on Saturday at 11 o'clock at night. It's like the late night horror
Mm-hmm.
thriller screening. I'm very excited. I think my entire plan for this weekend is to watch as many short blocks as possible and eat popcorn. I literally think I'm going to be living off popcorn this weekend because I don't know anything about Atlanta. I might try and go see something Atlanta history Saturday morning or no, Sunday morning because I
Mm-hmm.
think there'll be some time then, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if you're in the Atlanta area, join me. I'd love to see you. Come say hi to me if you go to this festival. If you're a filmmaker as well, join me. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited. You've got something next week is the Dances with Films.
Yeah,
So
next
if you're in the LA,
Thursday night at
Thursday
5.
5 p.m. at the Gromans, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Dances with Films, Obit, the short film that Natalie stars in, which is wonderful. It is so good. I'm so proud of it. I had a very small part in the creation of the story, so to see it on screen, this thing that I imagined, is just like, it's really, really cool. That's gonna be happening next week. So if you're in the LA area, come to
And
that
I'm
one.
still trying to figure out if I'm going to be
You're
able to
working on it.
make it.
You're
Yeah, I'm
working
working
on
on
it.
it. It's well, my part's done. I'm just waiting to find out if I get the days off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
uh,
Does this work out for me?
and I'm filming a short film this weekend.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
hmm playing a rookie detective.
So cool. It's very fun.
Yeah, I've never
I
done
can
that before.
absolutely see you doing rookie detective parts.
Yeah.
Not like now that you've been cast as one, I'm like, oh yeah. But before
Oh
that, like,
yeah.
was I thinking of rookie
But
detective?
I feel like
Typical.
I'm a little old for rookie detective. But hey, I'm taking it. I
No,
will take it. Yeah.
take the W.
You know,
No,
it's
no,
a new career in life. That's what it
no. Yeah,
was. Like in her 40s, she decided she wanted to be a detective. She was
that's a
already
real
something
thing.
else. I
That's a
don't.
real thing right now. I'm all
I don't.
about that.
I haven't decided what Willard's backstory is. Detective Willard.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so funny. Yeah, and then far off in the future, we are gonna go to Waco for the
Uh-huh.
Waco Independent Film Festival. For all the projects, so many
Yeah.
projects, and
Three
there's
there.
more. Oh, and we just announced. I totally forgot. Death is a Favor is also just, I finally got to say this one out loud, is in the LA Shorts Festival. So like we
Oh yeah.
snagged another one. Yeah, so I get an LA
Nice.
premiere. Yeah, I knew that one for a couple months. They like
Mm-hmm.
early pinned it, but I had to keep I was like, they're like, you can't say anything until later. And so we finally get to say we're in that,
Mm-hmm.
which is really exciting. I might have to miss it.
When is it?
It's gonna be while I'm possibly, it's one of those festivals with like 2 weeks.
Oh.
So my screening may be while we're in Texas.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss
Can I was like,
what?
can't you guys all get together and like decide that
Just
just pick different days?
just yeah, may I put you on hold? The other one that
Mm-hmm.
we're in
The
is the day before I leave for Texas at
Broad
Brave
City. Oh,
Broad
No, Brave
Brave
Maker. Brave
Maker,
Maker.
Brave
Yeah.
Maker. I was working overtime trying to figure out how to do both. It's impossible. There's just no way. But yeah, that's another one. Guys, get together. Good
Sean
problems to
was
have.
asking for suggestions on screenwriting competitions. We did an
Oh.
episode about festivals and again, this is our first time submitting screenwriting.
Hmm.
Um, I think that we did that episode. I think in that comment section is a link
Yes.
to still a shareable document that had
Hmm.
some of the festivals we were submitting to. If you
Yeah.
want to go back and find that one.
Yeah, I think in the screenwriting section, uh, late in the game, in there, like in the latter, after the interviews, so closer to
Yeah.
us on the timeline of life. Yeah,
So yeah, after Brian Newland's interview. So I
I
think it's like
think
six,
so.
probably about six.
Yeah, six episode
It's
six.
in the comments section though. I did link to a document that had a bunch of, but yeah, just in general, it depends on what your goal is.
What your
So
goal
like
is?
our goal with our festival submission was to actually to get laurels. And
Yeah,
that's
we're in that part.
that
Yeah,
goes counterintuitive to or counter to what we normally would do with our short films. We
mhm.
don't laurel hunt. We don't want just
No,
some and we're still not doing it entirely because we didn't go to that's we didn't just spend money to get laurels.
no.
We still went to competitions that we thought had some reputation, but we did ones that had tiers and announced semifinalists, finalists,
Hmm.
with the specific thought of even if we don't win or we don't become a finalist, we will still have something to put on of like, oh, we were a semifinalist or we were a quarterfinalist. Um, and then, but you can look at the list of and I haven't repopulated that list, so it's an old list, but there's a pretty preliminary list of ones that we submitted to.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's you all geared around our specific goals. So like there's tons on there that are great that we didn't submit to, and
Yeah.
it's because we're like, they don't have the tiered system, and also we don't think our particular,
Uh-huh.
not that we're not good enough, but that what we're writing is what they're looking for,
So
if that
if
makes sense.
advice that I will give is if you're looking for some place to try to parlay being in that festival or into getting a director or a producer on board, do ones that have table reads.
Yeah.
Festivals that have table reads often have people there who are listening to the table reads, trying to find things that are
Hmm.
they're interested in. If it's a short film, there are a lot of short film festivals that offer monies to win. Like we're going to
Yeah.
Waco Independent. We have a short script in that if you win, they give you $6,000 to produce it
Yeah.
in Waco, Texas.
Hmm.
The big screenplay competitions that are different that don't have festivals attached to them, then I would kind of look at like the laurels because unless you think you're going to win, we don't think we're going to win.
Yeah.
There's $25,000 on the table for that film festival. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm getting $25,000 to
And
make my
again, it's not a knock on our work. It's just us being very realistic. The one of the big things we've realized with film festivals and stuff is that they're looking for a specific thing. They have specific
hmm
tastes. They're looking for a specific. They have their own mission statement that they're trying to fulfill, and we don't always fit that. We do
No.
comedy, we do funny, we don't, go ahead.
John, no, it says, I have a long short, 22 pages, and I know that makes it tough. That makes it tough to get programmed for when it's made. That will have no bearing on you getting your script into the script competition,
Yeah.
because they don't read the whole thing. So often in these screenplay competitions, when they do have table reads, they read portions of them. And as long as it's under X amount of page, I think 49 is what a lot of the times that cutoff is. You will qualify, and I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I don't think it will interrupt you. Now, it might change your chance to win on those
Maybe.
festivals.
Yeah,
but
because
I
they
don't,
want you to make it. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
think
don't.
of it. Yeah.
ahead.
Think of it from the festival's perspective of like when in selecting a winner, they want someone when it gets made that it will get made. So like for the money that they're offering, so say it's $6,000, but you got 22 pages, that's really difficult. And then also when it is made and you start submitting your film to film festivals, if it's 22 minutes, it's a lot harder to program. So your net of possibility of being accepted goes down a little bit, and festivals want the accolade as much as you want the accolade of getting into a film festival. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying your movie's too long. I am saying to always take it into consideration that your longer short, it will be harder to program. So there's like a domino effect that kind of happens with that. But it could be exactly how long it needs to be. So
Right. No.
don't let that stop you.
I mean, I've seen some really good short films that are almost, getting into that featurette category almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recently, Heart of Stone, which is still going through festivals.
Yes.
That is a beautiful, brilliant short
beautiful.
film.
Yeah.
It is like 27 minutes. It is long and it's hard to program, but it's good enough that it's getting
good.
programmed
Yeah.
everywhere. Now,
Yeah.
with that said, I think every minute over 12 you have to earn.
Yes.
I mean, I
agree.
think every minute over 7 you have to earn, but every minute over 12, like
You gotta earn
better
it.
be earning that.
It needs to be necessary. Absolutely. And like without, like, if you cut this, it won't make sense.
Yeah. So I will really quick, festivals, I say for short films, if you want to submit someplace, the Austin one is a big one anyways. Austin screen, and they got a screenwriting competition. There's a huge, you probably already know the Austin one. Waco does a great job with their screen.
Waco's fantastic.
Waco is Waco Independent. Cordillera has a great for short films. If your short film wins, they have an in-kind contribution to get it made there. And then I had another one off the top of my head. Utah International. Now they don't have a prize for it, but they do good table reads, and there often are people there looking to produce stuff. So they one or two of the films that get read there every year manage to get made.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they do.
That's the point. Yeah.
I want to say they end up selecting, because some places only select a very small number that get read, but I think theirs ends up being probably closer to 30 films, like shorts and features that get read.
That's so cool. That's great. Yeah. Whenever there's a table read, it makes me. I love if a film festival is ever watching this, they won't. If you can include a table read in your situation, I love going to table reads. I think they're very illuminating to see someone's work that early in the process.
It's started to be one of those things that I always go to at festivals now, is the table reads.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Any other important news we need to share before we go? I think we're doing good. Don't forget, next week is going to be a completely pre-recorded episode. We will be in the chat. We're testing something out. Thank you in advance for letting us always soundboard off of you guys all of our technical issues, because it just, without being able to do it in real time, it might not work, and you know, we gotta test it out. So we appreciate your patience. If it sucks, we're sorry. If something goes terribly wrong, we're sorry. We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. No worries. All right. Okay. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, and that does mean there's no credit cookie next week. Important point. Yeah. No credit cook next week, but we'll be in the chat to chat with you guys. So there's that. All right. Later, skaters. Bye.
Bye.